Hello, everybody. Reed here. We're going to have a very interesting conversation about gang stalking. You're not going to believe these idiots and what they do behind your back. I tell you, I grew up with these type of idiots. You know, I lived around these type of idiots. I was born between two families of toxic narcissists. Can you imagine two families of toxic narcissists? Where do anyone who's born in that environment get any type of rational concept of reality? You can't. I don't know how I did it. I did it because of my personality type. I'm an INFJ. If you're looking up IF, you look up INFJs and understand the conflict INFJs inherently have with narcissists. I mean, we dismantled their structures. That's what I'm doing with this series on narcissism as a network. I'm trying to help you understand that awful narc that has control over you. The only reason why they have that control over you is because they're part of a network. They have other people on it who are around you right now who recognize exactly what they're doing to you, and they're choosing to remain silent for the purpose of providing cover, protection, privacy, shadow for the narc that's targeting you. Yeah, because otherwise you can just walk away, right? You cannot walk away from that narc that's targeting you right now because they have something else to target you with. And if you stand up for yourself right now, they're going to get that pound of flesh. They're going to get that pound of flesh. That's why they're always recording you and they're always violating your privacy. That's why I always say, always don't break any privacy laws, but make sure you have as much, even more data than the narc that's targeting you. That's the only way you're going to get out of that. You need a data management plan. I mean, you need to be able to look at everything that sick narc was doing. Why? Because everything they're doing will be there on the videotape and it will be there on the audio tape. You can play it back and see these sick, awful people setting you up step by step. And every step you can see them pausing to make sure they're ready for the next step, and then they execute the next step, and then they execute the next step, and then they execute the next step. Man, these people are sick. And once you remove that mask and you can see them operating when they think that they're still covert, right? Oh, you need to understand what's going on. These narcs are awful. They are sick. They are disgusting. Gang stalking is when these idiots get together and start attacking you at the same time. Meaning they'll attack you whenever they see you, just to keep that constant pressure on you, no matter where you go. See, when I think about gang stalking, particularly if I listen to other descriptions of gang stalking in YouTube and social media and things like that, I think I identify two types. One type of gang stalking, they describe, I'm driving in my car on the expressway, and then the same car keep following me, and then no matter where I go, the same car is there, or the same color car, or they'll change clothes, change cars, and get into it. I'm not sure if that's gang stalking, right? So some people describe out here on YouTube, I'm standing on a corner, okay, and the man down there walking past, he stopped and looked at me, and therefore he's in on it too. I'm not sure if that's gang stalking. I'm not sure if that's gang stalking. And so it's very hard for victims of gang stalking to actually identify that they're actually being gang stalked, because all of the idiots who are doing it vow to remain secret. Right? The whole scam cannot work if you knew that they were doing it on you. That's the whole problem. right? See, when you think about the sick narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath, you need to think deviance. So their reasoning is cunning. I mean, it's cunning. It's not logical, it's cunning. And so when the narcs come for you, they don't come directly, they come through third parties, and they come through with a group of people, right? Now, let me see, there's certain characteristics. I have here, Chat GTP. Let me see what they say. Chat, explain gang stalking. Now, gang stalking is true. I was experiencing that recently, and I had to handle it. I had to handle my business. And basically, I have this sick narc, around 50 years old, black dude, looks like a monkey. Always have to bring my name up. I mean, this monkey talks about me constantly. This monkey acts like he's a doctor like me. And this monkey was treating my patients, right? And while this monkey treating my patient, this monkey complaining about me to my patients and going around to everyone, turning people I don't even know against me. That's what I'm talking about, the narcissistic gang stalking. That's it right there. I'm not talking about the one where you in a crowd and people keep looking at me. I'm not talking about that one. I think he understands what gang stalking is now. Okay, gang stalking is a term often used to describe a belief or perception that a person is being targeted, followed, or monitored, or harassed by a coordinated group of people or organizations. The alleged activities might include being watched, having personal communications interceptions, or being subject to subtle form of psychological manipulation. Here's the breakdown. The claim: people who say they are experiencing gang stalking are often being followed by strangers in public. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Receive strange or threatening messages. Okay, I mean, narcs do shit like that to you. Notice patterns, like cars with the same license plates or number of people, pattern gesture, feeling that neighbors, co-workers, or even technology phones are part of a coordinated effort to intimidate him. Now, see, this is not what I'm talking about, like gang stalking, from what I'm understanding from narcissism. This is more, I think, more into like perceptual disturbances, perceptual differences. The first people perceive these things going on. What research says, so far, there is no verified evidence that large-scale organized gang stalking campaigns actually exist. Law enforcement and mental health providers who investigate such claims finds no objective proof of coordinated harassment. Right? Now, this is remember, narcs are cunning, right? So they're going to always try and make the person seem like they crazy. Go back to the Narcissism as a Network video I did on Dave Chappelle, right? And Dave Chappelle refused to sort of capitulate and bow down to that same narcissistic network in Hollywood that promised him all these things. And when he refused it, he turned it down. They turned on Dave Chappelle and they started calling him crazy, right? And what happens is that when they turn everyone against you, that's when you start experiencing the cognitive distortions and things like that, because they've changed reality and took reality in another direction and left you out. And so you don't have any other connections to other people because you've been alienated. And that is a very sadistic and very dangerous strategy when narcissists deploy on you. When what this sick narc was doing around me, going around everyone I work with and trying to change their opinion about me, right? And it can be very effective, where and narcs go to absolutely everybody, trying to win people over to their favor and trying to get them to join their network. Look at narcissists like lions trying to form a tribe, a tribe of lions or something like that, constantly trying to find an organization, because the only way they can target you, harass you, and harm you is through third parties, because they always have to remain hidden. And remember, you are in danger if you're in this situation. If you have a narc and it's flying monkeys, let me see here. I have here gang stalking. Okay, so it says here gang stalking. It's maybe like, paranoia or something like that. Let me look and see. Um, um, uh, okay, I got a good question for it. Okay. So here's my question. In studying narcissism, many people use flying monkeys as a term to describe who people who are under the influence of the narcissist, right? A narcissist. Let me see. A narcissist. When a victim is being harassed by a narcissist, when a victim is being harassed by a narcissist group of flying monkeys, how is that not the same as gang stalking? Let me see what it says. That's an excellent and very insightful question. And you're right that the line between gang stalking and narcissism's use of flying monkeys can look blurry, especially from the victim's perspective. Let's unpack the distinction carefully and respectfully. Wow. Okay, what flying monkey refers to in psychology, especially in discussions of narcissistic abuse, flying monkeys is a metaphorical term for people who help the narcissist, knowing or unknowingly, in manipulating, controlling, or punishing the target. They might spread gossip, deliver messages, spy, or apply social pressures on behalf of the narcissist. Often these people are manipulated themselves. They may not even realize they are enabling abuse. This typically happens within a real social circle, such as family, workplace, friend groups, and online communities. So this is real, observable, dynamic root in social behavior and abuse patterns. Okay, well, but see, the gang stalking, these are the same thing. Gossip, spreading message, and all those things. See, remember I was talking about the sick narcissist that's been targeting me, the 50-year-old monkey man? Yeah, same thing this 50-year-old man does. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? When these narcs get focused on you, it's like, man, you a 50-year-old man, man. What are you stalking another man for? But he got exposed. He got exposed. So now you can't hide anymore. What gang stalkers refer to? Gang stalking, as described in forms or self-reports, usually refer to a belief in a large-scale organized campaign involving many strangers, sometimes thought to include government agencies and tech network. Key features often include perceived systemic surveillance or harassment of unreal people. Now, I'm not really talking about this one. Okay, the overlap and the difference. Okay, yeah, but let me go through. The patterns are seen in random events, such as the same color cars following people, synchronized actions, a sense that the harassment is global, coordinated, and technologically advanced. While the fear and distress are absolutely real, investigators and clinicians rarely find verifiable evidence of such large organized operations. Okay, yep, the overlap and the difference. You're right that both concept describes coordinated harassment and psychological abuse. The key difference is scope and verifiability. Okay, narcissistic flying monkey, usually a small, real social network. Gang stalking, perceived large-scale or anonymous group, often strangers. For the organization, directed by a known manipulator, yep, believed to be an organized by unseen force. Yeah. Evidence, typically verifiable behavior, messages, gossip, coordination. Yeah, remember, the evidence is verifiable. So, I mean, it's very important that you get you a get you a, what you call it. Also, let me show you something. Also, let me see if I can go to. Let me show you an AI. Let me tell you this. I think things like this. Look, I'm purchasing this. Now it can AI note taking device. It can transcribe, summarize, support 112 languages and stuff like that. This is something that you're going to want to make sure that you have on you, because I think you're going to need to have some type of recording of your life to sort of document everything that actually happened. And having this around the narc, your goal should be to have every conversation, never be around them without this kicking off, without this kicking off, right? Make sense? Okay, here. Why distinction matter? If someone is being targeted by a narcissist and flying monkeys, it's a form of real psychological abuse and deserves to be taken seriously. However, if someone believes an unidentifiable network of strangers is stalking them everywhere, that might indicate a different type of distress requiring both emotional and psychological support and clinical evaluation. Yeah, so really interesting, huh? Let me go ahead and go to YouTube and let me just see. Let me see this.
Imagine waking up one day and realizing everyone around you, strangers, neighbors, even family, might be part of a silent operation to destroy your life. Welcome to the nightmare world of gangstalking. Gangstalking is a form of covert psychological warfare where a target is secretly surveilled, harassed, and mentally broken down by an organized network. These aren't random acts. It's methodical, planned, weaponized silence, strange stares, fake coincidences, and constant disruptions, all meant to push the target to the edge. Victims report the same tactics, cars with headlights following.
Now, let me help you understand this. Now, when you're this, remember, narcissism is a network. And when they decide, before the narcissist engages with you, the network already agreed to accept you as a target. So no one in that network will ever do anything that's helpful for you. So when you run into people in that network, they always do the thing that's harmful for you. So let's say that if you're running into, and then they always make sure that they spread their rumors about you to your people, to the environment you're in. So it's like you can have, so what would happen for me is my brother would always be with me, and he would be the main one spreading rumors about me, while the sick person, while he's here with me, acting like he loves me as a brother, same thing. He's spreading all these rumors about me as a brother. So this happens with the people directly around you. It's not the people down the street, it's the directly around you. They have a quality where they're always nice to you in front of your face, but they always devalue you and target you and spread rumors about you behind your back. Remember, they would say two-faced it, or remember in the black community on the south side of Chicago, they would say crabs in the barrel. Well, this is it. These are the same people. And they make sure that no matter what, they spread rumors about you, and they interfere with your relationships between you and all the support systems around you. So they go to your boss, they talk about you to your boss. If you're married to these people, they go into your friendship groups on Facebook and everything. They do all they can independently to target you.
Strangers repeating private conversations, noises, timing.
See, like strangers repeating something. Now, I recall around my high school reunion, and can you imagine the narcs love that? I mean, they love spreading rumors about you at the high school humors and like that. I mean, the narcs, the narcs, the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath. These idiots are primitive animals without consciousness. So anytime they get a fearfulness, they automatically react. So they go to extremes to target you and you wouldn't know it. So when I say they actually go to absolutely everyone you're around, I mean absolutely everyone. That narcissistic girlfriend of yours, or your narcissistic boyfriend of yours, a narcissistic spouse, of course, they're portraying you as being crazy and unstable to everybody around you, right? And then they are playing as if they're a victim. This sick 50-year-old monkey looking narc that's been targeting me for years, and because he's plugged and he's sort of stuck with these narcs, but you learn how to handle them over the years, right? This filthy, awful narc has been exposed, so everybody know who he is, right? And they know who it is by all the gossip the guy was spreading, So you handle these sick narcs by silence. Don't ever respond. Don't ever respond. Don't ever react. Don't ever respond. You know, and what this sick narc was doing was constantly trying to get people on his side to sort of to interfere with my relationships with the people they're around. That's what these sick people do, and they need to spread rumors and things like that to do it. Here's another very shocking thing that I learned about sick narcissists. I recall going back to a high school. I knew this guy who lived down the street from me, and he died. And we went back to his funeral. I went to his funeral and ran into two other brothers who are narcs, right? And basically, they wanted to take over the attention from the funeral. They wanted to get the whole attention from the funeral, and they got into an attention fight. You have two narcissists at somebody's funeral fighting for attention over the dead, right? And I went to high school with these sick idiots, right? And after they got home, I saw them two yelling and arguing with each other, and I couldn't imagine the level of brutality and the level of anger that they were displaying to each other. And it was completely foreign to me, and I had no idea what that was. So I sat in the corner and watched these two idiots try to upstage the family at somebody's funeral. I mean, these idiots were that persistent on being the center of attention, right? And they began battling with each other and getting angry as soon as one got attention, the other one's angry like that. And then finally the clash after the funeral at their home, where you actually see the narcissists in their den without their mask. And then now they can really deal with each other the way they really wanted to. I mean, I can't imagine how triggered each of those were when they couldn't get attention at somebody else's funeral, and the degree at which that they would go to confront and harm each other is on a level that you could not imagine. You wouldn't think that these sick narcs would be that committed to that degree of violence against each other just because they couldn't be the center of attention at somebody else's funeral. See, this is the thing that you don't understand about these sick people. They are willing to dive off a cliff for nothing at all. And are you willing to fight or deal with someone like that? So when they have you in a situation where you have to meet your needs and they deny you the right to meet your needs because they only focus on theirs, if you try to pull this back to your needs, you're going to have to be willing to jump off of a bridge to get your needs, because that's exactly what they are willing to do. And I don't think you understand that. I didn't think I understand how willing they are to apply a disproportionate amount of force and use a disproportionate amount of violence just to win a little bitty argument. There's a quality to this. all these interactions with these sick people, and that is all the time. I mean, they do it all the time. They never, ever, ever miss an opportunity to screw you up. Or if you have 10 options, 10 bad options. Notice this. If you have 10 bad options, one from worst to the absolute worst, they always manipulate reality in a way so you only get the absolute worst option. And that specificity, that accuracy is not seen anywhere in nature. It's not seen in nature. You see a full range of things. You see like a bell curve of options and a bell curve of experience. With them, why is it that you're always getting the most traumatic experience? And why are they just aggregating for you? And why is it that although the level of the severe trauma or disrespect or emotional psychological abuse you experience, how come none of the people around you say anything about it? How come? How come no one says any about thing about the emotional psychological abuse that you've been suffering from? How come? How come nobody's listening to your side of the story? How come? Remember, these people are incredibly idiots. They're incredibly cunning idiots, and they're not alive. They don't have a soul. Well, they do have a soul, but their soul is so obscure, they have no access to it, right? And there's no limit that they would do to harm you, right? It's just that these criminals use emotional and psychological abuse because our civilization, our society don't have the tools to detect them. Neither do we have a healthcare system designed to treat people for these types of abuse. Well, look, if the narc went and burned my house down, then they're gonna have to deal with the law enforcement and the resources that's going to fight burning houses down. So they're never going to get into a fight with an organization like a law. The sickest ones going to have to burn the house down because they're just sick. But the majority of the narcissists don't want to get into a conflict with another law enforcement agency just because they're targeting you. So they don't do things that they can get caught with. So they have to stay along the emotional and psychological abuse. And now, how do they emotional and psychologically abuse you? First of all, they have to alienate you. They have to get you by yourself. Well, first of all, they have to get you into their reality, meaning get you listening to them, get you wanting to help them out, getting you to change your perspective. Don't do any of that. I recommend when you see these sick people, you see these disgusting people, you just look at them the same way you look at animals out there on the field. Because if you try to empathize with them, if you try to sympathize with them, you're going to get sucked into their world, which is a delusional world. Why? Because they don't exist. They're only pretending to be that person only when they're in front of you, right? When they go back, when you're not there, they default back to who they really are, is a disgusting bastard. I mean, a filthy, disgusting slop animal. That's what they go back to. And that's what they are 99.9% of the time. When you live with them, they put on this front in front of you. But as soon as you leave the room, they go back to who you are. That is the scariest thing that you ever going to see around these people. It's the scariest thing. Always have, don't break any privacy laws, but always have the camera rolling. Because as soon as you, with these sick people, as soon as you turn your back, they don't want to spend the extra energy putting on a fake mask or a fake facade anymore. They take a break as soon as, and then they power back up as soon as you turn away. As soon as you turn away, they turn the mask off and they go back to who they really are, meaning they go back to who they really want to be. They don't want to be around you. They don't want you. They're just using you for the resources you have. And remember, go back to my video on the narcs in front of you is really not in front of you. The narcissist that's in front of you has been unalived by a greater narcissist, and they're only used as a mirror for that main narcissist to engage with you in a relationship with you. Why? Because that's the only way they can continue to live there vicariously, by manipulating their children and send them out next to you and have the children report everything about your life, you into them. And then when mama and daddy or whoever controls that narc is done with you, boom, you out the family, bro. It's done. The relationship is over, right? Then that's when they that's gaslighting. Then that's when they disappear. Disappear on you. These idiots are sick. And I think your problem, your main problem, is you have no idea how sick they are. You have no idea. I mean, absolutely no idea how sick they are, or the degree that they would do to go through and harm someone. Now, because they're trapped in their ego, they're trapped in their lower selves, they believe the characters. Because they do not have access to any higher authority of themselves, when their ego decides on judgment, there's no regulation, there's no filtering, there's no assessment, there's no de-escalation. Whatever the ego decides, then that's what's appropriate. So when they engage with you and they engage with your victims, the interactions tend to take on like a biblical type of nature in terms of the suffering. I mean, the victims literally feel the fire and the brimstone. I mean, they try to burn them up, over something that's insignificant. You didn't give me the attention that I wanted. My self-esteem is elevated. Every comment out your mouth needs to support my self-esteem, meaning you can't say a goddamn thing that makes me feel bad by myself. And what do you know that makes me feel bad by myself? And you should know. Just make sure you don't say anything about the narc. You trigger that ego, they come out with you with the full ferocity of the devil. I mean, chained for 1,000 years, out of his cauldron, out of hell, chained the devil up for 1,000 years. He's finally released. That's how they come after you. These primitive idiots. Let's see here.
Actions, even staged confrontations in public.
And then here's another thing you notice about these idiots. Now, they will go around where you work, where you live, where you enjoy yourself, where you're friends, and they will disrupt the environment. They will disrupt the environment. You ever been around a friend who talks about you behind your back? The mainly reason why they're talking behind your back is whatever venue is in, they don't want those people to have a relationship with you anymore. So they're there doing the same thing, holding a mirror to you. But then as soon as you go back, then they get back to their default selves. So you become in two realities. Okay, now notice. Look at my video caught between two psychopaths. You don't want to get between two of these sick narcissists, psychopaths, or sociopaths, because both of them working together have a significant ability to influence almost everyone around you. So they both can pretend to engage with you a certain way, which is an act, but you still be in an environment surrounded by very hostile, dangerous people who don't perceive you the way you believe they perceive you. And that's the question. That's the issue. So, for example, I've never seen a narcissist not do the preparatory work for its victim. So I remember this sick narc I went to high school with, and because the girls liked me and didn't like him, he had to contact everybody before the parties. Yeah, and talk about me, right? And talk his shoes or this. He didn't have the latest shoes or this. And did you hear this? And did you do that? And he just go and then get everybody together in his little crew the night of or the couple of days of. And that's the only way he worked. And then when you show up to the party, now everybody's in on talking about you. That's how they do it. That's how these sick, disgusting people do it. At some point, we're developing platforms and developing software, that can help identify these people. I I was amazed that when I look back at some of the most difficult moments, right? I look back and um, I went back and looked through my Facebook timeline, right? And I noticed something, that some of the worst moments that I had were on the same day or even the day before, the night before, that I had an intense conflict with a narc. Go look at the times that the worst times that you've had, and then um, look at how the conflict and then the destruction, and then just going back and seeing the relationships between the two, right? And then on my videos around that time, you can go back and look at the videos, and then now you can see the behavior. Now finally see the behavior behind my back. I can see everything, and it's all there. It's amazing, because it's the only way that you're going to see that the people who are calling themselves your wife, your husband, your mother, your sister, your brothers, they are all trying to target you because you have empathy. This is the same story of Cinderella, right? Let me show you this. Okay, look. Getting in now. Look, explain the story of Cinderella in relationship to uh, Cinderella. Explain the story of Cinderella and the relationship with her sisters and the definition of gang stalking. Okay, that's sense. Okay, it should understand the senses. Let me roll. But you see what I'm saying? Cinderella is a story, that explains the same type of relationship I'm having, where you have somebody with empathy surrounded in a family system that doesn't have any empathy and things like that. Now, the head narc in this system was stepmom. Also Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel being in a lion's den is another um, uh, story that reflects the same concept of gang stalking I'm displaying. Remember Joseph from the Bible, Joseph, and I'm not a Christian, but Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then eventually he became king of Egypt or something like that. So a lot of the very fundamental stories and for our culture actually points to gang stalking. Gang stalking is just a modern day terminology for you being surrounded in darkness. There's another term for this, being surrounded in darkness. There's a song called "If Heaven Wasn't Promised to Me," and the hook says, "I was living in a world of darkness, and now He brought me the light." The darkness is being surrounded by a group of these sick narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, because that's exactly what they do. They change reality and leave you alienated, so you never know what's going on. Because they're always changing the values, you get disruptions in your prefrontal cortex. Why? Because when they change reality, it becomes a system that's allowed to dump a lot of misinformation into your brain. And when your brain takes that information, misinformation, as if it's real, and render your reality, you render a completely different reality from the people around them. And they use this technique to isolate you, alienate you for that. Yep. I look at my videos on the mesocortical pathway, look at the mesolimb, look at the one on the prefrontal cortex, look at my videos on the hippocampus, and I'll show you how the functionality within the lobe, within the parts of the brain, have inherent vulnerabilities, meaning your memory does not filter what's valid and what's not information. So it just takes it in and then adds it into the whole pie, right? And that's the strategy that narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths have been using when they'll change their opinion about something, and everybody else will get updated on their new viewpoint, but everybody leaves you out of the viewpoint, right? And they make sure they keep their network secured so that that new viewpoint doesn't leak out to you, and so you don't get updated on a new viewpoint. That way, when you engage with any one of the people in this network, you're not going to have any of the information, so your brain is going to constantly render a completely different reality than theirs. And that's the state that they want to keep you in order to create a state of alienation. Now, alienation is one of these things that you cannot dissipate the alienation. Even if you are in a crowd, you cannot dissipate the alienation, because the alienation depends upon reuniting you with the reality, right? And that's what they're trying. That's the basis of what they're trying to do. And so the Cinderella story. Okay. This is a very perceptive connection. I mean, it's giving me all these compliments. The story of Cinderella actually illustrates some of the same social and psychological dynamics that people talk about with narcissistic abuse and gang stalking. Let's break it down clearly. The story of Cinderella. Cinderella is a classic fairy tale that appears in many cultures, best known in Western versions. Okay, after her kind father dies, right? Cinderella lives under control of her cruel stepmother and two stepsisters, right? Isolation. They force her to do all the work. Isn't the narcissist force? Have you ever seen narcissists, these sick people, people do pseudo work? They'll move things around as if they're working, but at the end, they haven't actually done anything. Like pseudo cleaning, pseudo work, pseudo cooperation, pseudo conversations. Ridicule and humiliated her. Yeah. Exclude her from social events like the royal balls. Alienation. Despite this, she remains kind and gentle. Right. She is a person who has access to her higher self. And as long as and the reason they're doing this is because she has access to her higher self. She has access. See, the reason why these narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths are coming for you is because they have a form of pathological jealousy. You have empathy radiating out of your heart, and it enters the room and it smacks everybody in the face. It makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel warm. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel greeted. You help people feel like they're necessary. You help people get the power their day. You are the support system for the people around you, right? If you were left unattended, everybody will fully appreciate the contribution you're giving to everyone around you. And the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath understands that. That's why when they have to meet you first, they have to greet you first, they have to try to draw you into their network first, because it's sort of like us against them, right? And then that's when they trap you in to try to get that energy all for themselves. Instead of you spreading that love that you have in your heart, the empathy you have in your heart to everyone around you, they basically go to everyone and say, hey, he's crazy, she's crazy. Why? So they can get all your empathy, meaning you start to discharge anger at them. You start discharging frustration. You start yelling at them. I mean, they turn the spigots up and they point it all at them. Right? They pointed all at them. And that's the purpose. They're trying to secure that energy source. Why? Because they don't have to do anything to feel good if they know they can target you and know you feeling horrible. They'll look at, that's why when narcissists are calm and relaxed and quiet, oh, but boy, you have to be careful. Something's wrong with you. With help from her fairy godmother, right? She attends the balls in a disguise. The prince falls in love with her, and she eventually escapes her life of abuse. Well, here's the thing about this. when you're, unfortunately, you've already trapped. If you're fighting with a narc, you're already trapped. They've already damaged you. Everybody got the plan to destroy you. You're going to have to let go of whatever you have. It's not worth your life. It's not worth the suffering. They're going to planning to harm you even more, because when they rip that pound of flesh from you, they expect for you to die. And this is what they're planning before you even got into a relationship with you. This is what they're planning. If you're around these people, you ever go over their house, they just look at you. They don't really engage with you. They'll engage with you on the first visit or second visit, but then they just simply look at you. You becomes that person's prey, right? They look at you like that narc's prey, because everybody knows what's going on. Why? Because they are around before the other guy, the other girl before you. Go back and look at Get Out. Go back. Let me go through Get Out, and let me just show you guys. Hey, wait, hold on a second. Let me show you what it's really like this. It was hard for me when I finally woke up and accepted that this is the way it is. Let me see, Get Out. Okay, and then we look at the narcissistic black families, the narcissistic black family cults. You know, this is it right here. You think hey, listen, I'm a psychiatrist. I deal with this stuff. I haven't seen anything as accurate as this.
You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
You know,
see, they explain Get Out in terms of black and white in order to sell tickets, right? But it's really you with empathy versus a narc, right? So it doesn't have anything to do with actual color, right? This is what narcissists and their friends and their families do. That one narc comes and befriends you and everything like that, and then everyone else is sitting around ready to lie on you, ready to harm you, ready to spread rumors about you, ready to fight with you. You know, if you start to defend yourself, then all of a sudden they start the rumor milling, describing you as crazy, anything to dismantle, discredit what they're doing about you. And now remember, you have one main problem. The one main problem is that you evolved, you developed emotionally enough to not even have the things that narcissists do as anything that you would actually think about. So so you wouldn't think about these things because you've grown too much. See, what I'm trying to say is, if you were 5 and you wanted to harm someone, you would do the things a 5-year-old would do, right? But because you grow emotionally, and let's say now you're 40, now you'll do the things a 40-year-old would do. There's no way that you would have ever considered that at every previous developmental level, there's another set of primitive tools that you can always go back and pick up and use so I can think like a 5-year-old, come up with a 5-year-old plan, and actually deploy the 5-year-old plan, and the plan as a 5-year-old may be more effective than a plan that I can make as a 40-year-old. Who would think of that? They understand that, but you wouldn't. They understand the more primitive these plans are, the more effective they are. They're going to target you right there in the back. You never going to see it coming, and they're going to have a certain destabilizing effect. They want the most emotional and psychological abuse, as much torment as they can, to extract out of here. So you wouldn't have thought that. So that's what I'm saying. You remember, when you're in front of one of those sick narcs in front of you, you're not dealing with an individual, you're dealing with a network. And this is a network that's primitive. So you will never be able to defend yourself against them. That's why the only way to win this game is not to play at all. Go no contact, meaning no physical contact. Don't think about them. Don't reflect on them. Absolutely nothing. And anyone that they are around and engaged to, you're going to have to cut it off. Why? Because those flying monkeys go around you and continue to spread rumors to try to get it all up again. I mean, these people are dedicated to this. They don't really stop until you get on them, until you clap back. They don't stop until you clap back. I'm going to show you. I'm going to create a couple of other videos about how to clap back at these narcissists. Remember, I have this 50-year-old monkey-looking narc targeting me. I mean, you would think that a man, why do you start and throw rumors about a man, dude? You a 50-year-old narc, you monkey-looking. And this narc was going around spreading rumors about me. It was getting really big, and I was just sitting back and watching and everything. Now I have this narc exactly where I want him. Exactly. I mean, when these, at some point in your growth, your healing, and your development, you have to understand that the angels also have swords. They also have shields also. And why do angels have swords and shields? Because, God damn it, at some point, you need to learn how to fight. At some point, if you do not start defending yourself and protecting what's most valuable to you, these narcissists will take everything you have. And when they take the things that you have, there's no place where you can run to get help from it. This is just awful. The things that are most valuable to you, they have a right to come and take, and they take it in a way where you can describe what's going on. How are you going to tell someone took your self-esteem? And do you go to the self-esteem police for that? They'll say, no, man up. But this is a coordinated effort against groups of people. So look here, and this is the same thing. Get Out is not about race. It is that this narcissist suckered this person with empathy into their system, and now they try to exploit them.
Should I? You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
I ain't never seen you like this before, bro.
Eating families, taking road trips. Don't come back all bougie, man.
Come back and get your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
Oh, now you know. Now, see, the thing is that he thought that was a random accident, but it wasn't. He thought it was a random accident, but it wasn't. They staged the accident.
So you guys coming up from the city?
Yeah, we're just heading up Philly.
And he's in on it. He's in on it, right? This is the whole setup.
Can I see your license, please?
He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Call me Dean in a hurry, my man.
So how long has this been going on, this thing?
Now look, now see, mom and dad met him, and then look at, now this is how the other family members treat you. You see how the ladies walking where they stood and watch. And then you notice in this group, there's always a retarded one. There's always a mentally ill one in these groups. Notice that in these, let's say, narcissistic black family cults, there's always one who's perceived as mentally ill. I noticed that. Look back. When you go over to these sick people's house, you go in their house, they have a tendency to look at you, but not actually engage with you. And then there's always a member who's mentally ill. I think that person who is mentally ill is the identified patient in that situation. I think they're the scapegoat in that system. And that's where all of the burdens of the psychopathology is being placed upon that one person in the psychopathic system, because they need a scapegoat. They need a scapegoat, you know?
Walter, to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
Let her quit.
She'd take care of that for you. How? Hypnosis.
I'm good at you.
See, the hypnosis is going into her world. Do never go into look at the video I wrote. I did on reality. And the first thing that you should never do is go into a reality of a narc. Just sit. Your reality is fine. Never leave your reality. Just look at what they're saying. Okay, good. Okay, that's good. What you got going over there. Good luck. But don't start asking questions about it. Don't get involved with it. Don't try to understand it. Don't apologize for it. Don't try to make nothing. As soon as you cross that line and try to help or engage with a narcissist, you actually appear in their world. And when you appear in that world, they have a right to define things any way that they want to. That's just how the programming this environment is about. And when they start to express their reality, even though it's fake and even though it's designed to target you, there's nothing that anybody can do about it. So the only way that you can ever protect yourself is by to no go, no con, never be around the person at all. If you are unfortunate enough to be around a sick narc, psychopath, or sociopath, you better make sure you got you recording. You better make sure you have recording, because you're going to have to get you have to capture reality. So when they try to make up a false reality to accuse you in it, then you have the proof that's indecisive, that's conclusive, right? You have to have conclusive evidence. Otherwise, it's just he says, she say. And the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath, they use he say and she say to burn the person out. It becomes too complicated. And then now you can't make a decision because they've intentionally complicated. So when you're dealing with narcs, you have to avoid the appearance of impropriety. You even have to avoid the appearance, meaning I wasn't there, and here's the documentation that shows I wasn't there. And in fact, I've never been there, because here's my documentation over the past 365 days that shows exactly where I've been. So I've never been there, and I've never been there over the years. So boom, there's no way that they can target you. And I think we're getting to that point now where you're going to have to start thinking about your own personal security and collecting data like this. I think it's going to be very important for you to start collecting data like this. Does that make sense? Let me show you a little bit more here.
You ready for this?
I'm back in beat.
So look, I go do my research. Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. It's cool, bro. How you not scared of this, man?
Can see no brother around here. Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Yo,
Sorry, man.
get out! Yo!
Bros, we gotta go.
See that when you're engaging with a narcissist or those environments, they actually engulf you in their delusional world. You start to look at things the way they do. And when you start looking at things the way they do, that's when you abandon your reality. When you abandon your reality, that means that you cannot do the things that are vital to maintain all the important things that you need to be maintaining in your life, right? You need to be cleaning the cabinets, right? You need to be dusting the what you call it. You need to get the cash. You need to actually clean the trash bin out and things like that. You need to start cleaning out the closet and stuff like that. You need to start working out more. You need to start engaging with more friends. You need to start doing more activities. You need to start participating in decathlons, and you need to start doing all those things. You don't need to be involved in a delusional system around a bunch of primitive people, and because none of the stuff they're discussing or engaged with is actually real anyway. All of the stuff is just created to run that simulated experience of misleading you. You see what I'm saying? So when you are around the narcissist, they don't really engage with you the way they really are. They engage with you in the virtual world or virtual reality that they created for you. And it takes a lot of energy for them to maintain that simulation. That's why when they break down, they get all irritable, angry, and start snapping. And then finally, when they can't do it, they disappear, right? When they don't have any useful for you, they're not going to spend the energy creating the delusional environment that you two are engaging in, right? So when you go over there with narcissists, they are all spending energy trying to create this reality for you, and they don't want to do that. So as soon as you turn your head, they turn it off and go back to who they really are, right? I hope you enjoyed this conversation about gangstalking. Gangstalking is basically a sick narcissist commit. A sick animal who are cowards. And these sick animals will prefer to talk about you behind your back and spread rumors about you and refer to you as crazy. And in 2025, you got a 50-year-old man referring to me as crazy. And what is crazy? I'm a psychiatrist. I'm a schizophrenia, bipolar. What is crazy? What the sick narc was trying to do is interfere with the relationships between the people around me. He wanted them to listen to him instead of me. And can you imagine why? I have something to say. I have things that's valuable. Look at my understanding of neuropsychiatry and what we're doing for our patients. I think we're doing a damn good job helping our patients deal with these sick narcs, right? And I think that sick narcs looking at my videos knowing, I think the sick narc, the monkey man, Dr. P, I think monkey man shut up. Because he sees that when you start talking about narcissists and what narcissists do, they have a tendency to hide. They don't come out. There's only one way that you defeat narcissists. You have to be prepared to fight them. I mean, you have to be prepared to fight. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. I mean, they coming for everything dirty. I mean, everything dirty. But you fight them with awareness. You help people understand exactly what they're doing, right? And so I explained to everyone what's been happening with the narcs around me. And I say it in public. And so now they're all hiding, right? I think you should do the same. Don't tolerate these buffoons, these ignorant buffoons. And all of them stink. I mean, and they are ugly. I've never seen a narcissist that didn't simultaneously look like a beast. There was something wrong with them. How they look, how they smile. This 50-year-old monkey narc that's been targeting me, when he smiles, it's like that cheap, cheesy grin that reflects an unconscious monkey. You better protect yourself out here with these sickos. And I'll let you sickos know I'm coming for you. Read out. Take care, guys.